Welcome to JHU Talk. In this conversation, Johns Hopkins University's graduate students speak with the national education leader about education in crisis and how learning remains a lifeline and a conflict in Myanmar.
Hi everyone, welcome to JHU Talk. I'm Ian, so I'm the host speaker today, and we also have our team member here. Before we begin, we did a lot of research about Myanmar's education system and Myanmar's situation these days. So Wei Yan, can you talk more about Myanmar's situation these days?
Thank you, Clarence. I'm really grateful to be here today. To understand education's emergency in Myanmar right now, I think we first have to face the scale of the crisis. Since the 2021 military coup, Myanmar's education system has basically collapsed. According to the international data, around 3.5 million children are completely out of school, and 7.8 million receive little to no meaningful education. That's more than half of all school-aged children. And I think I also need to start with a little bit of background. Myanmar, also known as Burma, is a Southeast Asian country rich in culture, natural resources, and home to more than 135 beautiful ethnic groups. But at the same time, we have experienced the longest running civil war in the world since independence from the British in 1948. Because of repeated military coups and decades of collapsed leadership, our economy collapsed, and our education system was intentionally weakened for a generation. We had this brief moment of hope when our national leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, the 1991 Nobel Peace Prize winner, won the elections in 2015. But on February 1st, 2021, everything changed again. The junta seized power, arrested our leaders, and took away our democracy. Like millions of others, I joined the peaceful protest against the coup. And as a public figure, I use my voice to stand for freedom, justice, and democracy. The junta has always feared educated people. For decades, they intentionally downgraded the education system because educated people think critically, question authority, and analyze truth. They are harder to control, right? And informed populations cannot be easily manipulated. They targeted me too. I had to flee to survive. Many who couldn't escape were arrested, tortured, or killed. And just like me, thousands joined the civil disobedience movement, which we call the CDM, refusing to work under the junta. More than 300,000 teachers left the regime and joined the CDM. And in response, the junta attacked education itself. In junta-controlled areas, schools became militarized, full of propaganda, and heavily monitored. In liberated areas, the military bombed schools and turned classrooms into war zones. CDM teachers run education programs under constant threats. Even online learning becomes dangerous. Some students and teachers were arrested just for joining a virtual class. Imagine that, just trying to learn become a crime under the junta. Seeing this tragedy changed my life. I realized how quickly an entire generation could disappear. That's why I founded New Generation Myanmar, an online school to give children a safe and accessible way to learn when every other door has closed. But my story is only one small part of a national struggle. And amid all this darkness, the most inspiring part has been the resilience of our people. Students continue learning with share phones and unstable internet. Teachers volunteer without pay. Teachings from displacement, from IDP camps, even from hiding. Communities built temporary underground classrooms, ran learning cycles, and protect children however they can. Even when school collapse, education doesn't stop because our people refuse to give up on the next generation. And that spirit of courage and resilience brings us to today's conversation. Today, we are deeply honored to have someone who has led with integrity and unwavering commitment from the first day of the crisis, a national leader who continues to inspire millions. It is my privilege to invite His Excellency Dr. Zowiso, Union Minister of Education and Health of the National Unity Government of Myanmar, NUG. Siaji Dr. Zowiso, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, hi, Doctor. Doctor, do you have anything to say before we get started?
I really, apologize and sorry about I cannot switch on the video camera. 20 minutes ago, we just have an airstrike near my place. That's why at the moment, we cannot switch on in our camp. And then also I'm in the bulletproof bunker. Don't worry, they're not going to kill me. And I'm protected. I'm sitting in the bulletproof bunker, but I cannot switch on my light.
It's a very dangerous over there. I hope you take care. And we're having this topic because we talked with Wei Yan a lot. So we understand there's a national crisis in Myanmar. So we think Myanmar's crisis needed global attention. Thank you again for joining us today. I think we can just start it. So our first question is how the 2021 military coup most significantly disrupted the educational access for children and youths in Myanmar.
Before the military coup, Myanmar has been centralized system. All the education institute are under the government. We have 174 university. Most of the university are standalone university. In your country, university, there's a different subject, different faculties. In Myanmar, one faculty, one university. Medical university and technology university and arts and science. What I'm going to say is almost all the university students, they not accept the military coup. Million of students not accept the military coup. And 200,000 teachers, they join the CDM, Civil Disobedience Movement. They cannot teach in the military rule university. They cannot teach military run a school, high school and middle school and primary school. That's why all the school, all the university in Myanmar stopped when we joined the Civil Disobedience Movement. I myself, I joined the Civil Disobedience Movement on 8th February. I was a rector of the University of Medicine 1 at that time. And then the whole university joined the Civil Disobedience Movement. Stop. But we stopped teaching in the military rule university. But we continued the online inter-university council teaching, online teaching. At that time, COVID-19,
Yes.
pandemic period. Even before the military coup, we have been teaching online. And then we continue the online teaching. That kinds of education continue. But because of the civil disobedience movement, regular, normal education in Myanmar was stopped in February 2021, and then running with the online education. At that time, I was chair of the rectors committee. In each and every university, we have rectors. Among the rectors, I was elected as the chair of the rectors committee for 174 university higher education reform in the year 2018. And then at that 2020-21, I met all the students online with the Zoom meeting, webinar. I met them, and then I told them we have to continue the formal education, at least online. But all the students, they refuse. They want to fight. They want to continue the revolutionary education, not the regular education. They told me. And then also at the time, some of the students already in jail because military tried to stop the strike, many students, and then also people came out on roads and their friends are arrested. That's why they don't want to. That was in February. And March, April, we continued the nonviolent kinds of resistance to the military. I think you already know they killed my student, University Medicine 1. And then also they kill my teachers. And then also they kill doctors and nurses. And then, people. I think you already know the number. That's why we have to fight because they are killing us. That's why we have to defend ourselves. We have different ethnic groups. We have a longest civil war in Myanmar in the world. In Myanmar, when we have independent from the British, 1948. Since then, we having a civil war because most of the ethnic group, they are not happy with the constitution that we have after the independence. That's why they are fighting. They want federalism. They want federal. They want self-determination. Ethnic armed revolution has been, about 70 years since 2021 September. We have been in the armed revolution. Because of that, I feel very bad. Myanmar education system has been collapsed since 2021 February. But we have been trying, and we have online education. And then, but in 2022-23, we have some liberated area. Because after having a revolution, we fight them, and then we control some area, and then we have liberated area. In liberated area, now we are having an on-ground education. People who are under the area of the military control, also they having education. But because of the shortage of the teachers, because teachers they join the civil disobedience movement, that's why even though the military control area, they cannot have a proper education and good education. And in our control area, also we are having a lot of difficulty because airstrike and bombing, and I think you already know they killed many, students, and then also they deliberately targeted on the school because they don't want and they hate the CDM teacher. They bombed the school, and then they bombed the hospital, and that's why education collapse, and then there's a lot of dropouts because a lot of shortage of the teachers and facilities, and then also very difficult situation in Myanmar.
Thank you for helping us understand deeper of Myanmar's problem and disruptions. We are understand I think the whole education system in Myanmar was collapsed due to those serious crisis. So now I'd like to shift towards to what community have built in response, because I think you already mentioned there's online courses for those Myanmar students. So I was wondering if the community have continued learning in creative ways. Is there any other forms of community lead education have emerged in Myanmar? since the coup?
Regarding with the online, since COVID-19, we introduced online education 2020. That's why, before the military coup, we already have some online program. With that, we can continue. But problem is the military, they control the communication system in Myanmar. Communication companies and all these things controlled by the military. I mean, when we try to have online education, very unsafe for the children, for the student, and for the teacher in the 2021-22. But I don't know you like it or not. I have to say thanks to the Elon Musk. Because of the Stalin, military, they cannot control the Stalin in Myanmar. With that, actually, we can have some safe online education using the Stalin. But we are struggling in 2021 and 22, but 2023, 24, and 25 now, our online education is quite safe now. That is the situation. And the community, Myanmar community, they are brave and they are united. And also they are very committed. Not only people inside the Myanmar, but also the outside Myanmar diaspora, Myanmar community in US, Myanmar community in the Australia, Myanmar community in the UK. They support a lot. I mean, because of the people. This revolution has been this, success. And we also believe the people power. Because of that, we can run the online education and then also now on ground education. Because we don't have proper taxation and incomes in our revolution. People to people is the main resources for the revolution. And then even the who are poor, they want to donate the revolution. And the old women, they took up the earring and then donated to the revolution. That kinds of community is very helpful to the revolution, very helpful to the revolutionary education. With that support, now we can run the school and education in Myanmar. During this revolution, National Unity Government, we got about 300 million US dollar from the people to people.
So I think it's really interesting when you are mentioning about the people power, like people relations. Those diaspora, like I think they play a very supportive roles in the education. So do you mean like those diaspora, they are like helping with the resources, teaching and network, also like mentorship? Is that what I okay?
Yeah, not only money. With that, their capacity, they are having a lot. I mean, now we have been running the primary school and middle school and high school. And also I have been running the university, both on ground and online. In that, most of the online, I mean, diaspora, the people from the UK, US, and they are having that, online education. At the moment, I already studied the medical school in the liberated areas. Most of the medical school online education helping the doctors from the UK and US. Myanmar specialists who are working in UK, US, they are having the online education from medical school in liberated area. On ground medical education, we are having through the CDM doctors and nurses who are working in the liberated area. That kinds of support from the diaspora. Not only money, but also their, academics and all these things. And then they also send the teaching aids, teaching materials.
Mister, I remember you mentioned the people to people, and it's really powerful and impressive to me. So I wondering, is that the biggest important part of your local communities that have compared to outside organization?
Yeah. outside organizations, something like WHO and the UNICEF and the European Union and the USA, they support. When we start the revolution 2021, we only have about less than 10% of this international support. Almost 90% from the local people, and then, are people to people. Usually in Myanmar, I don't know, you know about our history, and we have a 1962, we have the same kinds of military coup. 1988, we have a military coup. Most of the military coup, the army, they control the country within 2-3 months. But this time, they cannot control. That's why, international organization and then also our neighbor country and then even UN, they are watching because they thought that military will control the country within 2-3 months. But actually not. That's why in 2021, actually they're watching. They're not helping. They send all the international aids, the same thing like before the military coup. They sending all the aids through the, Yangon, city and through the airport, through the port, controlled by the military. But they realized that Myanmar situation in 2022, and at that time they started to find a way to support the people who are on ground and who are suffering and who are needed for health and education. That's why we started to get some support in 2022, even from the US, like USAID. But not a lot, not a lot. I think about 10% of the, our needs from the international aid, like Global Fund, Ministry of Health of National Unity Government. We got support from the Global Fund for the 3 diseases like TB, HIV, and malaria. And 2022, we got about $10 million for health care. But this is not enough. $10 million is, if you compare with the 60 million people, health care. But something is better than nothing. That's why we are happy with it. But still, people to people is the main power for the revolution.
I can tell there's a people-to-people power to help like all these national crises. Like everybody was working on the national crisis and try to like rebuild. I think it's a rebuild to education system in Myanmar because I think the education system in Myanmar right now is like collapsed and it's really hard to recover. So I was still wondering, like we are talking about the CDM, like a teacher in CDM. I think they are like doing the historical decisions to leave the system. So in practical term, how have they like continued teaching during the displacement and the like insecurities because they are like unsafe under this situation?
Yeah. Regarding with the security and safety, CDM who are in the military control area, very, very dangerous for them. Even, they cannot expose. But now we have a liberated area. We control about 50% of the country. Not the city. Rural area we control. And then also now we control about 100 towns. We have a 330 town. Out of that, hundreds we control. Even though they are bombing, they cannot bomb every towns and every village every day. That means we have some liberated area. In liberated area, CDM, they are, teaching and then running the school. But of course, we have to take care of the warning system. We have to be very careful about the paramotor, helicopter, and fighter jet. But most of the area, we can continue the teaching. In that liberated area, problem is not mainly the security reason. We cannot pay then salary or money to the teachers. They have been working and they have been teaching the student. They have been running the school without having salary for 4.5 years. You can imagine how much they are committed.
Yeah, they're really like suffering, like they're in this situation, I guess. Yes.
Yeah, they sacrifice themselves too much.
Yes, they sacrifice themselves.
Yeah. In this morning, I met the teachers from the village, and they are very much committed. They got support from the people. They got support from the villager. Also villagers, they are also poor. They can support rice and also salt. That is the only thing they can support. When I met them, they are happy, and then, they continue the CDM and they continue the teaching on ground. They are happy with their commitment and moral and the support to the revolution.
So I was thinking like, cause you mentioned about like those teachers in the village. So I was wondering like, cause you also mentioned like the online teaching earlier. So I was wondering, like under this situation, so like these conditions, can those like online teaching also actually work in a like remote area or like conflict affect area, or they do have a lot of troubles with the like online class?
Of course, a lot of challenges and then the difficulties. I think for the university, it's okay. But for the grade 9, 10, 11, it's okay. But for the young kids, I think online education is not that effective and efficient. But even the mature people, online only is not enough. But that I feel. I myself, that my opinion. In the education, we need to have an in-person, relationship is very important, especially in the teaching for the young people. For education, online is not enough. This is number one. And number two is we cannot have each and every village Stalin. That is a problem. We don't have enough money. And then also we cannot buy the, internet access for each and every village, each and every school. That's why, this is also one of the constraints for the online education. And we need money. I mean, we are using money for the armed revolution. We are mainly using for the, fighting. For the education, we cannot invest a lot. That's why, we're having that issue and that problem.
Yes, I agree. Like, online teaching do have a lot of challenges, especially we don't invest too much money in this conditions. And I think eye to eye, I think you mentioned about like eye to eye contact in education is really important, especially for those like early childhood education, I guess. And also I think online teaching is it's not like a long-term goal, but it's more like a short-term plan. So I think in the future maybe like have like a better another way of education is like important. But we with the I think the only way we can do education right now is only teaching, and also like other everybody just sacrifice themselves and working on these conditions. Yes.
And we are now talk about what is happening within Myanmar. And we'd like to zoom out and exploration about what the rest of the world can learn from this. So because Myanmar's experience is also a warning and a lesson for the global education emergency. So what are key lessons from Myanmar's experience should the global EIE actors pay attention to?
Right. There's a lot lesson that you can learn from Myanmar. I feel very bad to say that because of the people who want to have a power, and then also because of the atrocities. I mean, they are not thinking for the people. They are not thinking for the, generation. And now Myanmar, the whole generation will be behind the others. I'm really worried for the young generation Myanmar. In the 1988, we don't have online. We cannot teach online. But now we can have online and we can teach online. At least that I've been saying something is better than nothing. I mean, we can teach and, learning, continue that. I think the same thing that they are doing in the Syrias and other countries, the same, I think, people who are in revolution. I mean, that we can also see in the Myanmar.
Thank you for answering. And how can a system prepare before a crisis so learning is not lost when just some kind of emergency happens?
Yeah, education should not be stopped and, damaged or any collapse, but maybe different way of education. I think the war is changing. And also in future, the borders are thinning. Now, because of the technology, we can communicate anywhere in the world. In future, maybe we are having a 3D communication. In future, I think education may not stop, even though wherever you are and then whatever you are, that's what I mean. But not now. We are having a lot of problems. We're having many difficulties. But in future, I mean, technology advancement and then improvement and then, keeping the technology is very important for education. Even though what I'm saying, in-person teaching is very important, but continuation of education, I think we can use the technology. And then with that, education system have been changing. And because of that, even though you are having a crisis or any, problem, in future, education cannot stop. And then also education cannot rule by the hunter or, whoever. They cannot rule because education will be, in future, education will be free. And then education will be, liberated.
I agree. Because I also think like knowledge gonna be free in the future. So I totally agree with that. Education gonna be free in the future. Well, that's all the questions we have for today. But before we close, is there anything you want to add on, or for those listening who like care about the education, all these audience who care about the humanity work or like Myanmar, what is one meaningful way they can support or advocate for learning in the crisis?
Before conclude, first of all, actually, I'm happy to meet you all, and then also
Thank you. We also.
Looking at your young, active and then interested faces, I'm happy with that. But on the other hand, I feel very sad for my students and then also my kids and generation. They are not free like you. Even looking at the four faces that I see, looking at Wei Ao, his face is not that face like your face because he have some stress there because of the country and because of the crisis and because of the constraint and challenges, and I feel very bad and sad. But anyway, what I believe is, I already told you, the people, educating the people is very important. If you educate the people properly, the country have a proper way of development. If you cannot educate the people, you cannot have a good system and good people and good country or good region. That's why I think education is very important to prevent the crisis, also to prevent happening the bad things. You need to educate the people. That is very important. I think a key point. People is a power. Whatever the, political or social or economic, people has a power. For those people, I think we need to educate for the, having a strong and the greatest power to have. And I already mentioned that the future of the world, future of the people, and future of the humankind. I think education is the most important things in the world. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe you can come and visit to Myanmar.
We definitely go.
Yes, we will try our best, like while helping in the refugee education in Myanmar. Although we are not like good enough right now, but we're trying. We're still learning. Like we will do that. Yeah.
Maybe I will organize with some of my students, and then you can meet online.
Yeah, we can definitely meet.
That's our pleasure.
It's gonna be meaningful to do this topic. And I will also thank like Wei Yan to like I think he is the reason why we start like do the research about Myanmar and all these crises and trying to use our voice like in the podcast to help everybody. So thank you. And I forget how to say it. Kizuba. Yeah, Kizuba.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
As we talk about this topic today, and we also like discuss all these things, all these questions with the UNICEF minister, we learn a lot. I think we want to return to one core idea. In Myanmar, education is not just a system right now, it's a lifeline. So what we heard and what we learned through our research is that when formal schooling become unstable, people don't simply wait for normal to return. Teachers adapt, communities, organizations, they adapt. This diaspora support from Afra, and learning continues, sometimes partly, sometimes creativity, and often at great personal risk. But the global lesson is bigger than Myanmar. This story reminds us that in education emergency, refugee education, solutions cannot be only top-down. They have to be local, flexible, and center on trust, safety, and dignity. Because in the crisis, these are not extra. They are all the foundations. So if you take one thing from this episode, let it be this. Supporting education in emergency and refugee education is not only about rebuilding the classrooms, it's about protecting future and standing with the people who keep learning. Thank you.
Well said, Clarence. For all of us here at Johns Hopkins, this conversation is a powerful reminder that global education's work is not abstract. These are real children, real families, and real communities who are striving every single day for dignity, stability, and opportunity. I am truly grateful for the chance to discuss Myanmar education's crisis and the resilience of our people, and I hope today's conversations inspire everyone listening to think about how education can continue even in conflict, and how each of us can contribute to rebuilding a better and safer future. To students and teachers of Myanmar, your strength inspires us. And to our listener, thank you for joining this JHU Talk. This crisis in Myanmar reflects a global challenge, and the solutions we build today can help shape more resilient education systems everywhere. Thank you so much for being here.
I want to thank all my group members and also the UNICEF minister today. If this conversation moved you, please share this episode and keep paying attention to Myanmar and all these countries that have like emergency or refugees. Thank you.